One of them wanted to be the security guy. He claimed he was a security guy.
Welcome to Security Guy Radio. What's your name, sir?
John Adams.
And what's your company name?
SecurAmerica.
And how do we get a hold of SecurAmerica?
Website? You can look at us on the website, www.secureamericallc.com, or you can call us at our corporate office at 404-926-4222.
Where are you guys headquartered out of?
We're headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, I love Atlanta. That's a great town.
It is a great town.
2 or 3 towns, yeah.
Good food there too, right?
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good. So what do you guys do?
We're predominantly in the man guarding services arena. We also provide guest relations, concierge type services, shuttle bus operations on the commercial side. And on the governmental side, we have a company, American Security Programs, and American Security Programs provides armed guarding services to the federal government, local and state municipalities as well, and a variety of quasi-governmental entities.
I like that transportation piece. It makes sense.
It does.
Because you're in the space already, so you might as well secure the van or the transportation and the people.
That's exactly right. I mean, we have a lot of customers that have come to us and said, you do a great job, you know, with access control and perimeter security, and they have corporate campuses where they'll have a shuttle bus operation, and they've said, hey, can you deliver the same quality of service, the great people and everything else? The nice thing with it is that we train the shuttle bus drivers on security protocols and techniques as well, so it's almost like you get an extra roving patrol while you're taking care of your guests.
Oh, no, that's interesting. So the driver's not a guard, not licensed as the guard, but trained.
That's correct.
Okay, so I had a model like that once, an idea, where I was going to, you know, one client of mine, because I ran two guard companies, right? They wanted to save money, and I said, make all your janitors guards. What do you mean? I'll give them all a guard license, and we'll pay them a little extra money, and they can clean, and their license is a guard. It's all legal, right?
Right.
And we tried it, and it actually did work for a little while, but it's not the best model, of course, but for cost savings. So I'm glad to see people are consolidating things in the guards, because the guard business is a service business. A lot of companies forget that.
They do.
They think it's stack them high, put the guy there and walk away, and it's really about service.
No, that's not how we operate. I mean, very different model.
So how big is your company?
Right now, we operate in about 35 markets around the U.S. and growing very rapidly.
What do you find your challenges are in licensing in different states? Just an example, I was looking at opening something up in Kentucky and was surprised to find I didn't need a private patrol operator license in Kentucky, or the guards just had to do like a registration, wasn't really licensing. But most states require it now, right?
That's correct, they do. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges, and truth be told, one of the biggest opportunities as well. We really need standardized licensure requirements across the U.S. Some states, as you've said, aren't regulated at all. Others are very heavily regulated. To have one universal standard that would give us the ability to have the same caliber of security professionals across the U.S., I think would improve the industry dramatically.
What's the challenge, or what's the resistance, do you think? Do you think it's going to drive business out if it's too regulated? Or now in California, we have BSIS, right? That's
right.
You operate in California?
We do.
Okay, so you know the challenges, right?
Yes.
8 hours of training, 4 hours of training. I think it's good, but where's the budget from the client for the training? Because the client expects you to show up with them being Sergeant York and all ready to go, right?
Exactly.
And that's difficult to meet that requirement. And if you take the 8 hours mandatory training that's required in California, and it's your requirement to train the guards, that's an additional cost. And so these in California with the margins and insurance, it's very, very difficult. How do you get around that in California specifically? Not get around it, that's not the right way to say, but how do you comply with that?
Well, at the end of the day, you've got to have the right customer with the right mindset that understands that a well-trained security officer is going to benefit them greatly. And it's just explaining to them that, yes, there is a cost for training, but the cost of having an untrained security officer on premises, you know, can be very significant.
Right.
And so, you know, there are some states, for example, we're headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. Georgia requires 24 hours of pre-assignment training before a person, even if they were with another company and come to SecurAmerica, we have to train them again for 24 hours.
That's pretty stringent.
It is,
yeah,
but I will
works.
tell you, it's very effective because I want to know that they've been trained properly, they've been trained my way to deliver the service levels to our customers that we expect.
What's your biggest challenge in approaching a customer for a sale?
Convincing them that making a change will make a difference. I think everyone believes that, we all fish from the same pond, right?
Right.
And so they say, well, you're pretty much all the same. I would disagree with that. A couple points. Number one, yes, we are, from a socioeconomic perspective, fishing from the same pond. But at the end of the day, what you pull out of that pond can be very different.
Right.
And some companies have a very commoditized, hey, I just want a warm body approach. We're very discerning. And with some of our technology we use with Quantech and some of the other things, we have a 1 to 10 candidate to applicant ratio. So for every 10 people that apply, we only choose one, which is very important. So that's the first comment
that's
that I make.
That's a big differentiator. We at Disney, it was 1 out of 100.
Is that right?
Well, we had a budget, and we had time, and who didn't want to work at Disney,
Right.
right? So we had lines of people standing up, but it created a very specific type of employee in the end.
Right.
That fit the culture, because that's a culture match really more than a skill
It really
match,
is.
right?
We do work with Disney now, and so we understand that culture.
So you get that your guard has to match their culture, not the opposite way around, right? And
That's
really
right.
important, yeah.
That's right. We have to acquiesce to their culture, and actually, we are the brand representative for them. So getting back to it, I think it's convincing the customer that making a change will make a difference. So it's not only how we recruit our people, but how we select, how we train. All of our training is instructor-led. It's not it's hands-on. It's didactic. Right. And then we use training as another filter. We screen people out in the training class and say, no, you're not appropriate for this company.
That is a good training method, yeah.
Or you'll see that, you've got a person that, we were getting ready to put them in a front lobby of a Class A high-rise, and they're non-communicative. They sit there with their arms folded. They don't want to talk. Okay, they're great for a parking deck, but they're not good for a lobby. And so it's really matching the individual to the assignment in which they are going to fulfill, right?
That's brilliant. Every person in any job comes to you with a skill set, right?
Right.
What's their aptitude?
That's exactly right.
And if I worked in radio before I became a guard, you're going to want to put me in the Chatty Cathy position, because I'm going to engage people.
Exactly.
And so if you match those previous skill sets with guard work, you're much more successful. What's the number one challenge you have in retention? What do you think most guards leave? Because retention's a big deal. I bet you have a high retention rate.
We do.
But it's still the guard business, so what do you do to kind of keep people working there?
Recognition. Everyone thinks it's compensation. And I
it's not. It's not
I would
compensation.
argue that it's not. I mean, we have a very, very high retention rate. And it's primarily because we recognize our people. Every single month with my company, we have a program called the 110% Club. Frank Argenbright, who's our founder, put this in place 30 years ago with one of his other companies. And so every single month, every employee in the company is scored based on attendance, appearance, performance, client commendations, and the like. You hit 110 points, you get a letter from me saying, congratulations, you're part of the 110% Club. And every year, at the end of the year, we hold a banquet for our associates. Now, imagine this. You have security officers that have been in the business for years. They've never been recognized, right? We want to catch you doing the right things.
Right.
Most companies want to catch you doing the wrong things.
That's the model. That's right.
And we're going to reward you for that.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that we bring them in. And we have a couple years ago, the theme was like the Oscars. You're our star performers. So we literally had the big bronze or gold statues up there. We had the red carpet. You see security officers coming in with a rented tux or a formal evening gown. They're bringing in their spouses, significant others, their family members to see them get recognized. Because look, let's face it. How many people at high school career day said, "I want to be a security officer"?
Right.
No one. Right?
Pretty much.
And so no one. And most people stumbled onto the industry. Well, now we're trying to teach them that this can be a profession. If you're a performer and you do great things, you can ascend to a higher level within our organization.
What's interesting is most businesses would do the same thing, right? Almost every company I've worked with or for has employee recognition. The car business doesn't think it's necessary in general. It's weird.
I know.
It's weird to me.
I know. And it's interesting because those people, that's my product, that's my deliverable. Human capital by the hour is what we do.
That's the product is people, right?
Now what we do, we have technology and other things to augment their efforts, but at the end of the day, so you've got to invest in your people. Companies invest in their product. That's my product. So we invest in the rewards and recognition. So at that banquet, they see their picture up on a big screen. They get a certificate with, recognizing them. They get a crystal award. They get a pin showing the 110% Club. They go back and they tell their peers about it. The thing that it does is it elevates everyone's performance around them.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're like, wow, tell me about that. What happened? And then so next year, you know, maybe this year one guy at the site was there. Next year, 5 guys are there.
Right, and if you're sitting next to the guy that just won an award,
it's contagious.
You get up the bar. Because you look
exactly
like you're sitting
right.
still doing nothing.
It's contagious,
Yeah.
and so that's the model that we build.
How are guards doing in the technology area? Because, you know, 5-6 years ago, 10% had a phone. Now 70% of them have a phone. They're getting more engaged in the technology.
Right.
There's always a challenge to train at the studios. We had computers 20 years ago, right? And that was a challenge. Who used a computer 20 years ago, right?
Right.
What's that bell curve looking like? Are guards more, the younger
They're
guards
much more
especially-
technologically savvy.
They're getting there, okay.
They're embracing it. And truth be told, we screen for that as well.
Good.
We want to make sure that they have computer skills. They know how to do emails. They know how to type. They do the things that are necessary. But, you know, so our philosophy is with technology is that it's got to do one of 4 things. Number one, it's got to take costs out of the system.
Yep.
Because technology for technology's sake doesn't make sense. Number 2, it has to enhance the performance of the security officer. It just does. And so when you show the security officers how that can make them better, make them more efficient, make them more effective, that's important, and they embrace it. The third thing is that it's got to mitigate liability for the customer, right?
Right.
If you don't, why have it?
Why have it,
and then
right.
lastly, you know, it's got to give the customer and our organization greater visibility into the events at the facility. So one of those 4 things exists. You have a great technology platform. And so by doing that and focusing on it and making it user-friendly, our officers are embracing it. And truth be told, we're recruiting differently now as well. We're looking for people with technological skills.
And that Quantec program, which kind of screens a lot of that,
Absolutely
really helps a lot. Automation helps a lot.
You know, it's a great product. We recently migrated over to Quantec. And again, people are our product.
Right.
So the visibility that it gives us up front in the recruiting process and some of the predictive screening tools that it has associated with it has been very valuable for us. And then we look at it from a trend perspective. Hey, what happened with this type of individual? How long have they stayed with us? And so it gives us the ability to start to develop better profiles for the type of people that we're bringing in our organization.
Technology is where it's at. So here's the technology question. Last question. When are we getting robot security guards? Is it coming?
You know, I think at the end of the day, someone will bring that to market. But there's only so much a robot can do.
It's people. It's a people product.
People can make decisions that technology cannot.
That's right.
Right? We had a situation recently where, you know, there was an individual at a distribution center. And one of our officers noticed that normal truck drivers have steel toe hard boots on. This person came in a pair of black Nike high tops.
Robot's not going to catch that.
Robot's not going to catch that.
Right.
Our security officer caught it and found out that this person was part of a major theft ring that was stealing millions of dollars worth of cargo, and we were able to thwart that crime. Tell me a robot that can do that.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Technology and people, there will always be a balance.
John, SecurAmerica, thank you very much. Website again?
www.SecurAmericaLLC.com.
Thanks for coming in. Great interview.
Thank you.
Right. And the sun's come out, so we have to cut right now.
Absolutely. Perfect.